Welcome to the Holy Bible Study with Shelby. Well, today is Genesis chapter 37. The title, Joseph Dreams. Okay? Joseph Dreams. So make sure you have your King James Version Bible out. Man, and start with us. Make sure we got the family at the table. Pen, paper, and patience. Like with all my videos, I'm going to play audio on it. But in this particular chapter, I'm going to stop the audio to explain a couple of things about this chapter to you. So we might have to make this a part 2, because I don't want to be too long, and I want you to kind of really get a good grasp of this chapter. So with that said, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button, notification bell, so you'll know when we drop in a video. So with that said, let's get started. Genesis chapter 37. Give you time to get there. Okay, let's get started.
Genesis 37. And Jacob dwelt in the land wherein his father was a stranger, in the land of Canaan. These are the generations of Jacob. Joseph, being 17 years old, was feeding the flock with his brethren, and the lad was with the sons of Bilhah, and with the sons of Zilpah, his father's wives. And Joseph brought unto his father their evil report.
Now, Joseph's 17 years old. Okay. Now this is next to the youngest brother, because the youngest brother of the 12 tribes is Benjamin. But Joseph, God had a plan for him. Okay. And if you notice at the end of verse 2, it reads, Joseph brought unto his father their evil reports. So these evil reports, pretty much, Joseph was going back telling his father everything his other brothers was doing. You know, like being a little tattletale or something like that. Everything he did, Joseph went back and told his father. So his brothers did not like that. And so let's read on.
Now Israel loved Joseph more than all his children, because he was the son of his old age, and he made him a coat of many colors.
Now right here, now by verse 3, when it says, now Israel loved Joseph more than his other children. Now, you know, God changed Jacob's name to Israel. So he's talking about Jacob here, but now he got the new name Israel, okay? And he loved Joseph more than he loved his other children. Now, you know, that's not a good thing for parents to do, favor one child over another child. I certainly didn't do that with my children. But there's a whole lot that we read if you've been following this video on this Genesis chapter, that Joseph loved Rachel more than he loved Leah and other concubine women that he had. So I guess that's why he favored Joseph much as he did. Joseph and Benjamin more than his other sons, which is very much as a tragedy. You shouldn't do that with your children. You should treat them all the same. Okay? So let's continue.
And when his brethren saw that their father loved him more than all his brethren, they hated him, and could not speak peaceably unto him.
So we see there, where his brothers, you know, they knew that their father loved Joseph more than them. They didn't say he didn't love him, but he just didn't love him more than Joseph. And so, I mean, it was so obvious because he made a special coat for him. You know, a coat for a king or a prince. And so his brothers really hated that. Okay? So let's continue.
And Joseph dreamed a dream, and he told it his brethren, and they hated him yet the more. And he said unto them, Hear, I pray you, this dream which I have dreamed. For behold, we were binding sheaves in the field, and lo, my sheaf arose, and also stood upright, and behold, your sheaves stood round about, and made obeisance to my sheaf.
Now, Joseph had a dream. And, like I say, God had a plan for him. That, like I say, these brothers, all 12 of them, went and gathered, like harvest, wheat or barley, whatever it was. But Joseph, did something strange. It stood up and, stood out from the others. And it was clear that Joseph one day was going to rule over them. Okay? Let's continue.
And his brethren said to him, Shalt thou indeed reign over us? Or shalt thou indeed have dominion over us? And they hated him yet the more for his dreams, and for his words. And he dreamed yet another dream, and told it his brethren, and said, Behold, I have dreamed a dream more. And behold, the sun, and the moon, and the 11 stars made obeisance to me. And he told it to his father, and to his brethren. And his father rebuked him, and said unto him, What is this dream that thou hast dreamed?
Now, so now, let me make sure I play that.
I and thy mother, and thy brethren indeed come to bow down ourselves to thee to the earth?
Now, here is at verse 10 here. Let's go back up to 9. And he dreamed yet another dream, and told it to his brethren, and said, Behold, I have dreamed a dream more. And behold, the sun, the moon, and the 11 stars made obedience to me. Okay? So this really made the brothers hot. Okay? But this is God setting up a prophecy to Joseph. Okay? Joseph just telling the dream. So he didn't know where it was headed. He was just telling them what he dreamed. And then even his father got upset about it. Now, I want you to realize that in verse 10, I'm going to show you where this prophecy come to life. When, verse 10, and he told it to his father and to his brethren, and his father rebuked him and said unto him, What is this dream that thou hast dreamed? Shall I and thy mother and thy brethren indeed come to bow down ourselves to thee to the earth? Okay? What I want to do at this time, I want to take you to Revelation. Revelation chapter 1. Okay? Let me go there with you right quick. Matter of fact, on your own time, so you see in Revelation chapter 1, as talk about this woman that has the sun, the moon, and the 12 stars. Now, we just read here in Joseph verse 10, where it was 11 stars. Well, Joseph is the 12th star here. Because the tribe of children of Israel is 12. But I'm showing you in Revelation, fast forward, this was the prophecy. The woman that had the sun was Jacob, the moon was Rebecca, the mother, the 12 stars was Israel. So yeah, make sure you kind of put those two together, and you'll see where the Lord is going with Joseph with this dream. Okay, let's continue at verse 11.
And his brethren envied him, but his father observed the saying. And his brethren went to feed their father's flock in Shechem. And Israel said unto Joseph, Do not thy brethren feed the flock in Shechem? Come, and I will send thee unto them. And he said to him, Here am I. And he said to him, Go, I pray thee, see whether it be well with thy brethren, and well with the flocks, and bring me word again. So he sent him out of the vale of Hebron, and he came to Shechem.
Now, what happened here is that Joseph's brothers was out somewhere, doing their work with their herd and all that stuff that they had. And the father was kind of worried about what was going on with them. So he told Joseph, hey, go find out what your brother is doing. Okay? So that's where it's going. He's telling him to go find your brothers and see what they okay as to what they're doing. Okay? Let's continue.
And a certain man found him, and behold, he was wandering in the field. And the man asked him, saying, What seekest thou? And he said, I seek my brethren. Tell me, I pray thee, where they feed their flocks. And the man said, They are departed hence, for I heard them say, Let us go to Dothan. And Joseph went after his brethren, and found them in Dothan. And when they saw him afar off, even before he came near unto them, they conspired against him to slay him.
Now you can see that on verse 18, and when they saw him afar, even before he came near unto them, they conspired against him to slay him. I mean, they hated him so bad that they was going to kill him. I mean, just the thought of that is just it's so sad, because that's why as parents we don't do that to our children. But God has a plan here, so God got His hand in this. So I'm not questioning what's going on with how God did this. I'm just saying, as parents, we don't never want to treat our children that way. But God got His hand on this, so anytime God got His hand on something, it's positive. But yeah, they planned on killing him. So let's continue.
And they said one to another, Behold, this dreamer cometh. Come now, therefore, and let us slay him, and cast him into some pit. And we will say, Some evil beast hath devoured him, and we shall see what will become of his dreams.
Now, I mean, you can tell they had very, very hostile against Joseph. They was going to throw him in a pit and pretty much leave him there to starve and die of thirst. Let's just find out what happened. Let's go.
And Reuben heard it, and he delivered him out of their hands, and said, Let us not kill him. And Reuben said unto them, Shed no blood, but cast him into this pit that is in the wilderness, and lay no hand upon him, that he might rid him out of their hands, to deliver him to his father again. And it came to pass, when Joseph was come unto his brethren, that they stripped Joseph out of his coat of many colors that was on him, and they took him, and cast him into a pit. And the pit was empty, there was no water in it. And they sat down to eat bread. And they lifted up their eyes and looked, and behold, a company of Ishmaelites came from Gilead with their camels bearing spicery and balm and myrrh, going to carry it down to Egypt.
Now, this is very interesting right here. Now, they stripped him of his coat, because they're going to use his coat to be an excuse that they're going to blame a wild animal that killed Joseph, as we continue to read. But notice it's 27, and they come and let us sell him to the Ishmaelites. Now, the Ishmaelites were Hagar's son. And if you remember in the previous chapters, that Isaac and Ishmael was the son of Abraham. So these now, here it is, Ishmael's lineage. This is 700 years later, guys. There's a big time gap between all this now. And now, these Israelites, these brothers seeing them, and now they're going to plot a different course with Joseph here. Okay? So let's continue.
And Judah said unto his brethren, What profit is it if we slay our brother, and conceal his blood? Come, and let us sell him to the Ishmaelites, and let not our hand be upon him, for he is our brother, and our flesh. And his brethren were content. Then there passed by Midianites, merchantmen, and they drew and lifted up Joseph out of the pit, and sold Joseph to the Ishmaelites for 20 pieces of silver, and they brought Joseph into Egypt.
So, they're still killing him because they didn't want blood on his hand, on their hand. They sold him to the Ishmaelites and took him to Egypt. Okay? Now, at least they didn't kill him. But still, they had so much hate in their heart that they sold the little brother to these Ishmaelites. And then the Israelites turns around and sold it to the Egyptians. So that's a lot of hate. But at least they, didn't want blood on their hand. But they doing a whole lot of wrong things. But like I say, God got his hands on this situation because God didn't want this to happen. It wouldn't have happened. Okay? Let's continue.
And Reuben returned unto the pit, and behold, Joseph was not in the pit. And he rent his clothes. And he returned unto his brethren, and said, The child is not, and I, whither shall I go? And they took Joseph's coat, and killed a kid of the goats, and dipped the coat in the blood.
So, here we're being crafty. They killed a kid goat, got the coat all dipped in blood like a wild animal killed Joseph. That's what they're going to go back and tell their father. And Reuben, the older brother, he didn't like all this. But, because he knew it was going to hurt his father real bad to hear that his son was killed. Okay? He going to have guilt because he's going to feel like it's his fault because he's the one sent Joseph to go look for the brothers to see if they're okay. You see where this is going? Okay, let's continue.
Then they sent the coat of many colors, and they brought it to their father, and said, This have we found. Know now whether it be thy son's coat or no. And he knew it, and said, It is my son's coat. An evil beast hath devoured him. Joseph is without doubt rent in pieces.
See here, where the obvious he think that, a wild animal tore him apart. Because he only got this coat here and it's got dipping in blood, and I guess the brothers, tore the coat up to make it look like it was ripped in shreds of something that attacked Joseph. Okay? Let's continue.
And Jacob rent his clothes, and put sackcloth upon his loins, and mourned for his son many days. And all his sons and all his daughters rose up to comfort him. But he refused to be comforted, and he said, For I will go down into the grave unto my son mourning. Thus his father wept for him. And the Midianites sold him into Egypt unto Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh's, and captain of the guard.
Okay. So, Jacob was heartbroken. He thinks his son is dead. Okay? Now, I don't know what was on his 11 son's mind, but like I said, God had his hand on this. But I can only imagine, as family members, because you got to realize, all these 12 brothers had different mothers. Came from the same father, but they had different mothers. And like we have in today's society, we have our step parents, we have half brothers, half sisters, stepmothers, stepfathers, and there's always chaos in this. That's why it's so important that you teach our young children God's word. That way they can be with this one man, this one mother, and be more united under the same umbrella. And that way they don't have this broken division like this. Okay? Now, not to say that, relationships don't work out sometimes, and these things do happen, but we still have to make sure we're picking the next mate that we choose to be with, that there's some good, quality, godliness in them, because you want these children to get along. And unfortunately, it's not always the case. You know, when you have stepbrothers and half brothers and half sisters and stuff like that, there's always chaos. Okay, so this lesson should really teach us how important it is to make sure that we're teaching our young men how to treat women and how to be godly men. That way, when they meet a woman and they respect them and they make the right choices of who they choose to have children with, because the goal is to stay together. Okay, but like I say, God had his hand on this, so I don't want you to confuse like God did something wrong here. No, don't even go there. God had a plan for Joseph, and that's the way it happened. But fast forward to us today, with our young sons and daughters, we want them to make right choices. And the only way they can do that if they have the Word of God in them. That can help big time. Because I taught my son and daughter, still teaching them God's Word now. But I taught them when they was young to love each other first. Because you teach your son to love his sister and give her respect, he's going to go out here and he's going to respect women. And my daughter, she's looking at what a man of God look like, feel like, and sounds like. So she, we're looking for a man that has some God in him. If they ain't got no God in them, I've told them, you're messing with the wrong person. Okay? So with that said, Genesis chapter 37, I thought it was going to be part 2, but we got through it pretty quick. Joseph's dream. And this is going to get very, unfortunately, it's going to be very sad situation the way it started, but it's going to have a good outcome at the end of this chapter. Okay? So with that, have a nice day. I look forward to doing Genesis chapter 38 with you. Be peaceful, and thank you for your time.